Today we're going to take a closer look at the 4 unique commemorative florins produced by Australia over the years. So the first florin I have here, and this is to celebrate the opening of Old Parliament House. And this is a coin, whenever anyone tells me, oh, I've got this old coin collection and I think it's really, really valuable, 99 times out of 100, this coin's in there. And the reason for that is that they produced 2 million of them. So there were plenty available, and at the time of release, people actually lined up at the banks on the day of release. So it was like, the equivalent of a midnight release for a new video game or something like that. Back in 1927, it was the release of the new commemorative florin that had everyone excited and queuing up outside the bank. Time to take a closer look. Quite a lot of these coins, they turn up in average circulated condition, so they're not super valuable. Usually you can pick them up for around about $15, and they're traded primarily based on their silver content value. These coins were 92.5% silver, which makes them sterling silver, as is the next coin that we'll be looking at. The latter two are 50% silver. So after 1946, all of the pre-decimal coinage had their silver content reduced to 50%. Moving on, we have my favorite coin, the Melbourne Centenary florin. I've discussed this in other videos, so I won't rehash all of that old information, but this is by far the rarest of the 4 commemorative florins and the most popular. So the reason being is they only produced 75,000, and of that, only 54,000 managed to remain in circulation, 21,000 were melted down, and the retailer, Foy & Gibson's, took 30,000 of them and distributed them to their customer base. They were given out in change, so they weren't really popular like a lot of collectible coins in modern times. A great example is the $2 Mars coin, which a lot of people are actively talking about and paying huge money for. When they were first released, the coin shop I was working in, we couldn't get rid of them. So the planetary sets that they came in, we were selling them at a price that was below the recommended retail price in order to get them out the door because no one was buying them. I think, and at the time, I thought the reason for that was largely due to them being a bit of a cumbersome set, and now they're really, really popular, specifically that coin. But back on to florins. So this particular florin is my personal favourite of all pre-decimal Australian coins. I really like that design, which was quite controversial at the time of its release. And yeah, I'm a big fan. So they start out at around about $250 to $300, and they get right up into the thousands for a really nice example. Next up, we have the Federation florin. So this was to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Federation in Australia. Once again, we saw a return to the 2 million mintage. So the idea was obviously that sufficient quantities were minted so that most people that wanted to were able to get their hands on them. I quite like this design. It wasn't nearly as popular as the previous 2 coins we've discussed in this video, but I've always been a fan of any time there's a little bit of change in the designs on coins. So I'm a bit of a sucker for anything that's a little bit different, something commemorative. I think this is a pretty cool design. So they've actually managed. I don't often look closely at coins like these sometimes, the way I should. I go in and I look for signs of wear and things like that, but I don't often take the time to just appreciate the design. And whilst looking at it in preparation for this video, I noticed the Southern Cross is put in the background there, which I hadn't paid attention to before. I think that's actually quite nice. Finally, we have the 1954 Royal Visit florin. This coin is interesting for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, in my opinion, is this royal visit was in planning since 1949, and it was planned that George VI was making the visit, and as this was the first visit to Australia from the British monarch, it was quite a big deal. So a lot of planning and preparation was in place, and at the time, George VI fell ill, and so a stand-in was needed, and it ended up being Elizabeth II. So this coin was struck to celebrate that royal visit, which was a really big event. As I understand it, reports were approximately 75% of Australians at some point went out to one of the major events to see her on her big tour around Australia. One, I don't know if it's a criticism or just an observation, but often at a glance, I thought this coin was half kangaroo, half lion. It's actually a lion with a kangaroo standing next to it. Just a general observation. I guess it's neither here nor there, but just something I've noticed with this coin. But overall, not a bad design. I don't mind it, but it's probably my least favourite of the 4 commemorative florins. So that is it. They are the 4 commemorative florins struck by Australia. Let me know what your favourites are in the comments, and if you have any thoughts or opinions, or if you, I don't know, even if you have an idea for your own commemorative coin, who would be on it, or what would be on it, and why. There you go. Pop that in the comments and let me know your thoughts. But as I said earlier, the Melbourne Centenary florin, obviously my favourite. I really love that coin, but let me know what your thoughts are. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.